Well, of all the teams approaching the November 1 period, Manly, you feel, are the side that almost has the most riding on it. Could be a generational change period for them, with a star veteran approaching the end of the line and a few areas that they certainly need to address. These are our top 5 targets for the Manly Sea Eagles. Well, the Manly Sea Eagles finalists in 2024 and made a pretty good account of themselves when they got there. They would expect to do the same in 2025, and they are still a lucrative prospect for rival players, but a lot of what they do centres around their veteran superstar, Daly Cherry-Evans, 35 years of age, 329 games to his name already. Out of contract at the end of next season. Does that see him through and he retires at the end of that? He'll be 37 by the time that contract ends. Or does he perhaps look elsewhere to finish his career? Does he extend a little bit beyond that? And how do Manly deal with that transition when it does inevitably come? There are obviously a few other issues that they've got to address as well, which is why they're going to be one of the most intriguing watches from this period. We're going to look at all 17 clubs, and today it's Manly. Option 1, Jamal Fogarty of the Canberra Raiders. We spoke about Daly Cherry-Evans and the need eventually to replace him, whether that be now or in a couple of years' time, given his age. And Jamal could potentially be that option with the emergence of Strange and the like at Canberra. He could potentially get squeezed out of there, and they certainly need somebody who can effectively kick the ball and also has a little bit of experience coming into the ranks. They don't want to have too significant a drop away in that space, and his experience and exposure to big games could potentially cushion that blow and help bridge into that next generation. Option 2, Braden Trindle. Another option post Daly Cherry-Evans would be potentially to move Luke Brooks into the 7 and then recruit another specialist 5/8, and this could be an option for them. So again, a lot of what they do is going to centre around his future and how they want to play that. Somebody that can give them a little bit more depth and versatility, which gives them options within games and within periods of time to throw a few different things up in their quest to bridge the gap on some of those sides above them on the table. But that is another viable option. Option 3, Kotoni Staggs. Well, there's a lot of questions over the back 5 at Manly, and they've got to look at some options. He's going to be a very, very hot target, Staggs, when that period does open on November 1. It's not going to be the only club vying for his signature, and do they have the cap room or the cash to spend that some of the other clubs around them might do? But certainly targeting a centre option seems a logical thing for them to do at the moment, and he would be the top of the list, but at the top of a few clubs' lists as well. So are they prepared to get into that potential bidding fight? We'll find out. Option 4, Teague Wilton. There is the top end of the financial spectrum that clubs will aim for, but there's also some of those shrewd value plays, and a bit of depth in the second row is certainly what they do need going forward. And even if they do encounter a little bit more cap space with some players moving on, it's still smart to go after some players that wouldn't necessarily cost the pennies that some of these other players would, and that would provide them depth in an area which is all too important in their quest to, as we say, bridge the gap. They were competitive in the second week of finals, having got their way through the first, and not seemingly too far away, and some of those players around the edge will be important. Option 5, Jonah Pezet from the Melbourne Storm. It's going to be a recurring theme. There could be as many as a dozen clubs after his signature sitting out of the game for a year with injury. And it seems that his spot, or at least his ranking within the Melbourne Storm, has probably been swallowed up by some of those other players around him, as well as their persistence with Munster and Hughes, and understandably so. So he could potentially be gettable for any number of clubs, but there will certainly be a race for his signature. As we say, he seems destined for really big things. And will that be at Manly? Will that be somewhere else? We'll find out. Well, Manly, always a curious case, and a lot of their future hinges on a decision from a veteran superstar and just when that decision might come. A top 6 side this year. How far off the top 4 are they, and what can they do in this period to maybe push themselves into that echelon? They're our top 5 targets for the Manly Sea Eagles. Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and find all of the latest news at zerotackle.com.